I am going to make a pencil drawing. This is an HB pencil, as you can see, and this is a painting of an old man by Rembrandt. I printed it using a laser printer, just simple. And as you can see, the light comes from the left. Rembrandt had a high window, so the light came from the left side, and you have this division in light and shadow. Rembrandt used clair obscur. I will add a little picture of the complete painting in this video, so you can see the whole of it. But as you can see, the lightest part is here, and the shadow is here, and it's not totally dark because there's some reflected light in the room, so this is not totally dark here. But the light comes from the left, and this is slightly darker than this, for example, so I have to take that into account. And I'm just going to draw. Going to zoom in a little bit. I think I will add a little picture here so you can look at it. Or shall I just use this? I think I zoom out a little bit, and you can look at this. It's more natural, I think, than to edit a picture in the frame. So I am drawing this area, especially the very dark area here. And I have this other eye here, and this is slightly lighter than this, so here is a large area which is really dark, and here you have this accentuation which is also dark, but this area is lighter than this, so I try to take that into account. And here I have this eye, so that's darker. Let me try to zoom in a little bit, like this. And then I look at where his nostril starts here, so I go here down. I have to get the form of his nose here. Then you have this area here, and such a print by a laser printer is more crude than, for example, when you print such a painting with a color photo printer. So I find it very convenient to work in such a way, but sometimes when you use these type of images, I mean, here there's some definition lost, quite a lot of it, so if you want to make a careful drawing and you want to have this really well defined in tonal values, then you could print this with a photo printer, or have it printed for you because the photo printers, the commercial photo printers might be better than what you have at home. I'm not sure, but it's all dependent on what kind of printer that you have. But I find it convenient to print color images at the store and not at home, because ink is much too expensive. And now I'm defining his face here and there. Usually I draw and paint young women, so drawing an old man with wrinkles here is something different, but it's interesting to do that. You have to challenge yourself with things that you don't do usually. You have to challenge yourself sometimes. By drawing his beard, I try to mimic a little bit how these hairs go. So at this moment I'm trying to put lines on the paper which are a bit like those hairs in direction and form. His mouth, I need to accentuate. I'm going to zoom out a little. And now I just need to add a lot of shadow. This line here, I think that's here. And his ear. I'm going to put some work into these wrinkles. Rembrandt must have really liked adding wrinkles. It's easy to lose track of what I'm actually drawing now. I needed this eye here. I had drawn this area, but I did not really draw this eye here, which I noticed when I looked at this area, this eye. I thought, this is here something. And now I want to have the light and dark right, so I'm going to add this area here. And now I want the tonal values to be right here as well. This has to be slightly darker than here, so I want the white of the paper to be drawn over with a little hatching here. And this needs to be darker. Now I have a drawing which has the main features of his face here. I think I put this too high actually. It should be here, but I'll just leave it there. And now I want to work on the dark areas here. So I'm not going to draw all of this, but I want to concentrate on his face more. And this area is more the surrounding area for the main event here, the main area. So I'm mainly working on this area here. And this is more atmosphere, but I want to get this right here, his face. This can be a lot darker and more defined, so I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to try another pencil with a sharper point, if I can find one. I have this glass with a lot of pencils, so I take another one which is sharper. And I have the feeling that a sharper pencil can go a little darker on this paper if I press it hard enough. I will put the name of the paper in the description, and eventually I will add also some Amazon links. If you would like to support this video channel, you could use those. Feel free to do that or not. But it's highly appreciated if you do. Very much appreciated. I want to get this background here a little darker, so his face lights up a little. It gives it all more atmosphere to add this slightly darker background here on the left. And now I want this piece of clothing here. And now I need to work on this area here. I try to follow the pencil strokes with my the brush strokes with my pencil. I don't always follow the direction of the skin, for example. You have draftsmen in the Baroque and Renaissance who really follow the direction of the form of the skull with their hatchings, and that can be very beautiful, but I don't do that always myself. And I think it's starting to appear nicely here. His face. I've zoomed out a little. Now I'm looking at the overall composition. So I have defined his face. I'm not finished with the face, but I'm looking at how far do I go? Should I add this as well, or just leave it at this, which is quite effective as well. I actually like his this here. To measure where this should be. So here. And I don't want to draw too much to the edge of the paper, so I have to suggest this more. I don't want this to be cut off too much, so you can download a high resolution image of this Rembrandt, I think. I downloaded it from the internet, so if I find the link I will add it to the description of this video, so you can use a decent image of Rembrandt's painting. You can download a lot of paintings from the museum websites, and so you can have high resolution images of works of art to study and make these kind of drawings of them. And now I want to work on his face to make it more defined. Well, this needs to be a little darker. So this moustache, for example, really has to be lighter than his nose, so you have to get that difference. You don't want it to be too dark, the skin, but because this is a lighted area, but there has to be this difference. And this is darker than this area. So within the beard, within the lighter areas of the beard, there's also difference in tonal value. Are these hairs here, and they are actually, the hairs are white, and I have to, how do I get these suggested here? Because I have to get the skin a little bit darker than those hairs, but the direction of those hairs should be here in this, but I don't want to draw them darker than the skin, so to speak, because you don't, those are white hairs. So I have to work around these hairs with the color, tonal value of the skin to suggest a little bit of that direction without overdoing it. And now I sense that the point of this pencil is getting blunt as well. I've drawn quite a lot of it now. Again. So I'm going to take another pencil. Do I have a sharp point? This is quite sharp. So we can go on with a sharp pencil. I really like this little system of having pencils ready, sharpened. So when you have to sharpen a pencil during drawing, the point is that I noticed that sharpening a pencil is quite difficult sometimes. When you need it, I had a lot of pencils which I couldn't really sharpen properly for some reason, so I don't want to bother with that, be bothered with that. So I just have a bunch of sharpened pencils ready, so when I need one I just take another one. I need to get this form slightly darker here to get his head round. Must be round. And there's this highlight which I have to be careful with. And now I have to look at the lightest area here. So I want to be careful adding light tonal values here. His hairs. I think this is an ear that Rembrandt suggested. So, and this should be darker. And with those wrinkles I really have to look what I'm drawing. At a certain moment you lose track of where you are actually drawing with those, what you are drawing. I don't think I'm completely correct in each wrinkle here copying this. So I think I got most of them reasonably right. He has too much of a frown here. I need to get this area slightly darker. This has to be darker as well. Sometimes I turn the pencil a little so another area of the point touches the paper. I don't know if it's really much of a difference, but I get the feeling that it helps to get the tonal values darker. where I need them to be. And now I want to look at the tonal values overall, because I want this area should be a little darker so the beard comes out more. And I want some more darkness here. I like some more darkness here. Can I get some more darkness? Do they sell that somewhere? Really gloomy saying, but I need some more shadow here. I'm looking now more for the composition and the atmosphere of the whole drawing. I only have this cutout here, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening here, but I need a little more darkness here. And now I want to focus for the last phase, because I don't want to work on this much longer. I want to finish this soon, but I'm going to focus a little bit on his features. Try to get the expression better. And in a face like this, it's good to take a little pause, which I'm going to do now. I'm going to put down the pencil now. I'm going to check my email, do whatever. So you see a little edit now, but the point is I'm going to drink a little bit, just a little pause, and then I come back to finish the drawing for some last detailing. I took a little break. I'm going to proceed now, finishing the drawing. I don't want to do too much on it from now. But with a fresh pair of eyes now, I see that I want to make this darker, so this lighted area from reflected light gets defined a little more. So I want to take into account what you see here. So I'm making this area darker now. And it's really to define this here. So I don't want to make all of this darker, it's just to have an area here which creates a subtle contrast here, subtle difference. This needs to be better. And now I want this here. When I look at the overall composition, it needs a little dark area here to give it some weight. And now I want to work on the features like the nose a little more. I'm going to see if I have a sharp pencil again. So these are the pencils I used up till now. These were sharp and now they aren't anymore. This needs a little more here. Let's work on that nose. Now I'm adding some lines, but I have to watch out with that. And I see this is too light here, I notice now. So maybe it's because I cut off this this cup here, but it really needs some darkness here. Not really darkness, but a little bit, not a white value, but a little bit darker tonal value here to give it some more atmosphere. I try to make it poetic here, like a poetic cloud of graphite. I have to watch out here. I made a mistake actually by, as you can see here, my hand has some of the graphite on it, so let's see if I can find something, a piece of paper to put my hand on, because here I smudged a little bit. That's not good. Now I'm looking at tonal values. When I look at this, I feel that the beard here, the transition from dark to light is not correct here, totally. Not totally correct, so I'm trying to adjust it a little bit. sometimes you start a drawing and you think, oh, I draw this area here and this is more or less atmosphere, or I don't do this totally, but then the drawing extends to here, so you need to draw this more than you intended to sometimes, so one has to adjust to that sometimes. So the scope of what you are drawing in detail can change a bit as you go along. And then the drawing has its own logic, so to speak. So when you are developing this to a certain finish, there are certain areas that must go along as well, otherwise it becomes unbalanced, while other areas can be treated more like this here, sketchy. But I need to get that beard done more completely. Now I want this beard to be convincing as well as hair. So it's not really a quick sketch anymore. I think I'm half an hour in now or something, with a break of half an hour or 20 minutes. Working on this area. And I'm reaching the point that I want to finish this. I'm starting to think that I'm not improving anymore, that the drawing isn't getting any better now, not much. So I have my doubts of what I did here just now, if it was a little too much here. Should I have let this open or not? Anyway, it is what it is now, but Looking at some details in the nose. And I think I'm slowly coming to the point that I leave it. I think I want to do a little bit more on the definition of the nose now. At the point that you think, oh, I'm stopping now. One sees all kinds of things all of a sudden. I wonder is how that works. You say that you want to stop, and all of a sudden you see something that you haven't seen before. You didn't see. I want to get this darker. I think I'll leave it at this. Oh, this here. Yeah. Thank you for your attention. I think it's quite a long video, but I just uploaded. Thank you.